Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. We have some missiles arriving in Ukraine, as well as the Russians testing some new rockets or missiles as well. So, this article that I want to discuss, actually, there are two articles. I start with the first one, which is from Ukrainska Pravda from May 28, 2022, states that new 155 millimeter caliber self-propelled artillery and Harpoon missiles arrive in Ukraine. So 155 millimeter caliber self-propelled artillery and Harpoon missiles around. That's good for the escalation of a situation, isn't it? So Oleksiy Reznikov, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, has reported that three types of 155 millimeters artillery, the M777 howitzer, FH-70 howitzer, and Caesar self-propelled howitzer, those are the French ones, are already being used successfully at the front, and that the M109 howitzers has arrived in Ukraine. Now, a direct quote from the defense minister. Three types of 155 millimeter artillery, the M777 howitzers, have H-70 howitzer, and the Caesar self-propelled howitzers are already being used successfully on the front line. It was just impossible to imagine this back in March, but today it's a reality. I'm happy to report that the news that the 155 millimeter artillery fleet is being replenished. Also, it's been destroyed first, and that should be success on the Russian part. M109 howitzers is one of the modifications. Is one of the modifications have already arrived in Ukraine. This is very high quality equipment. Okay, let's see how they're gonna do. They're gonna replenish them again. Reznikov also reported that the coastal defense of Ukraine is to be reinforced by Harpoon missiles. So that's for boats and um, all right. And then the coastal defense of our country will not just be reinforced by Harpoon missiles. They will be used by trained Ukrainian teams. Yeah, I'm sure that the fighting brotherhood of Harpoons and our Neptunes, a Ukrainian-made anti-ship cruise missiles, will help liberate our Black Sea and make it safe again, as well as reliably protecting our Odessa. He also mentioned more than 100 American UAVs of various types among the latest arrivals. According to Reznikov, over the last month and a half, Ukraine has received more NATO-style artillery shells than the number of Soviet-style shells available. He emphasized that thanks to the assistance of Ukraine's partners and the skill of Ukrainian defenders, the Russian occupiers are getting a rebuff they did not expect. Well, yeah, it sounds to me that there were going to be a lot of weapons still coming into Ukraine. Probably the Russians will destroy the convoys as they enter from Poland. I'm pretty sure that they will not be destroyed in their entirety. You can actually do that, but then they will provide more, and then so it goes. The problem is, I was listening to a podcast of former colonel, retired colonel McGregor, Doug McGregor, and he said that according to some sources, the Ukraine military capability or personnel was reduced to about 30% since the start of the war. I didn't have information on that or not, but it seems like if you remain with 30% of your army and calculate that over what 4 months, right? March, March, April, May, 3 months and a little bit. That would be what for one more month or 2 more months at the most if they don't get reinforcement. Um, So that's the first news that I have, and the other one is the Associated Press news, coming from Associated Press from May 28, 2022, and this is the title: Russia test fires its latest hypersonic Zircon missiles. Um, the Russian Navy on Saturday conducted another test of a prospective hypersonic missile, a demonstration of the military's long-range strike capability amid the fires in Ukraine. Excuse me. The defense minister said the Admiral Gorshkov frigate of the North Fleet in the White Sea launched Zircon cruise missiles in the Baltic Sea, successfully hitting a practice target in the White Sea about 1,000 kilometers, 540 nautical miles away. The launch was the latest in a series of tests of Zircon, which set to enter service later this year. Well, Zircon is intended to arm Russian cruisers, frigate, and submarines, and could be used against both enemy ships and group targets. It is one of several hypersonic missiles under development in Russia. Russian officials has boasted about Zircon's capability, saying that it's impossible to intercept with existing anti-missile systems. Well, we'll see if that's going to be obviously it's going to be coming in the production or be available only at the end of this year, and they will be very eager. I'm talking about Russians to test it in Ukraine if the war will extend later this year, which I think that once the fall was coming, there's going to be a lot of shortages, and it's going to be felt by the populations of the Western countries, which probably will start how should I say diminish their support for their intervention or their help of Ukraine when they see that the electricity is increase its cost, gas, the regular natural gas, and then you got the oil jumping off up. And I just found an article that they expect to jump another like 40%, the oil prices. So it's increased the price per barrel from about 110 to about 140 some. I will cover that in another video. So I think that the whole thing could end by the end of the year, because unless the Russians are defeated, and I always said, how could you defeat them? Just sending Putin to the I don't know, gulag. That's not gonna happen. Taking care of him like Senator Graham said, Lindsey, and I don't think that's gonna happen. There were some news that he might have cancer and something like that. I do not see any evidence so far to support that, but the mass media has to make its money and do complete its purpose, which is forming opinions. Well, we'll find out. The problem is these guys are escalating by supplying weapons. They said they will. Now Ukrainians are happy with that. I don't know how many people and who's going to be able to operate those weapons. The Russians are testing their missiles and flexing their muscles. Then we're going to see that used in Ukraine if the war prolongs until I would say the end of the year. Well, that's it for now. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.